You need a powerful computer to handle us.
And a powerful mind. And a good set of ears.
And a strong stomach. You're listening to Time to Lean, and here's the song. John and Phil have a couple of beverages and talk about something, and then write a song, probably about something that they talked about while having a couple of beverages. Thanks for joining us.
How you doing?
Well, this winter is getting on me. On my nerves.
All of a sudden we have
a real winter.
Real winter. It's a little late this year, I think, but
and it's like really intense.
Minnesota.
It's concentrated winter we're having.
Yeah, the polar vortex followed by a mini polar vortex with snow.
a buttload of snow we're having right now.
Yeah. It's
I'm probably going to have to plow again after this, or at least shovel something. We've been shoveling shit on the podcast and shoveling snow afterwards.
Do you say, I'm going to go plow the driveway, or I'm going to go blow the driveway?
Well, that just sounds kind of kinky.
I set that up pretty well.
It's a snow blower, but I'm not going to go blow the driveway.
Is it really a blower? That's what they call it. Like a leaf blower is actually a large vacuum thing that blows the stuff out. But the snow blower has this auger that just kind of
it blows the snow,
pushes it, and shoves it out of a tube.
Well, but you don't want to call it a snow shover.
Yeah, I don't pusher.
Well, there's
a lot of people call it thrower, which is actually more.
Snow thrower is another one. Yeah,
I think thrower is more accurate.
Well, either way, it blows.
Yeah, I've my new machine this year is so far works well. Although if the snow is packed down at all, it does not get it down to the pavement.
Well,
That's
I think
the weakness of it.
Yeah, you got a joystick on yours. You can play Atari 2600 while you're blowing or throwing or plowing.
Yeah, this big plastic joystick that you could use to move the chute around and aim where you're sending all that, where you're blowing.
That would be very handy. I get an older one. I have to. It's old rusty.
Yours has like a crank, right?
No, it's just a handle. It's just a handle. I got to turn it by hand. I don't even have one of those crank things. Okay. Sad. As I get older, oh no, we're going to talk about snowblowers all night. No, but as I get older, I really think I need to invest in something better, because this thing it's pretty much being held together by, you can't put it together by duct tape, but by
baling wire, I think is an acceptable term there.
Yes, and thoughts and prayers. Other than that,
there
but
you go.
Hey.
Okay, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I had a Dakota Soul. I think we've talked about that before on a previous episode. It's a beer.
Yes.
And it's from Summit. And I think it's mostly North Dakota barley or something like that. And
that's right. I that sounded kind of good if I remember correctly.
It is. I like it.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, I don't like the real hoppy stuff, but I still regular lager doesn't usually have enough character for me. So I like to. But right now I'm also my second drink is a Manhattan again, just Granddad. Is it Old Granddad or Granddad?
It's Old Granddad.
Old bonded Granddad.
Okay, you're doing the bonded, which
Bondage.
is actually not the. They actually make a 114 version.
There's one above bonded?
Yeah, it's instead of 100 proof, it's 114 proof.
I wonder what that tastes like.
It's very strong. I'm not sure I like it. It's almost a little too much, but I haven't had it in a number of years.
What's the term they'd use? Spirit forward. If you put it in the cocktail.
Yeah.
Boy, that sounds
that's
too much.
That's when you really got to put a little bit of water in.
That sounds like Everclear or something.
That's pretty close to what would be considered barrel strength.
Oh, okay.
On a lot of them. I mean, you can go a little higher than that, actually.
Well, maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking in my head. It's only 14 more.
I think, you remember that triple smoke stuff that you tried over here?
Yeah, that was a kick.
That was about 125 proof.
Good Lord.
which
Okay.
that's literally cask or barrel strength.
All right. Okay. Well,
Now,
I don't know
I've
the numbers.
read that Scotch, due to the way it's distilled in the climate in Scotland, tends to never get quite that high. It just, the alcohol tends to evaporate.
The Angel's share.
More than bourbon does, for example.
Well, fine. I'm feeling a little evaporated. Well, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm okay. You know, it's been kind of a weird day. A lot of stuff going on at work, but then I managed to get home early enough to avoid driving in rush hour during this raging blizzard.
Well, the first wave hit during the morning rush hour
when I was driving,
and the second one hit in the afternoon, in the evening one at rush hour.
Yeah, it's very considerate.
Yeah, it really timed it well.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So tonight I have got a miniature bottle I brought back from Dallas, Texas.
Which you were just at.
I was at last week. Go into that in a second here. This is called Balcones or Balcone. It's Balcones. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but
You drink it on a balcony.
Yeah. Balcones Texas single malt whiskey.
Balconies. But you got a miniature one from Texas. It should be bigger.
I didn't want to try and bring back a full bottle on the plane. So
It's a Texas whiskey.
it's a Texas single malt whiskey.
Single malt whiskey. Okay.
So
So it's not a bourbon.
It's a Scotch style
What?
American whiskey.
In Texas? Oh,
Yeah, it's odd.
I don't know.
It's been around a little while. Apparently, it's I've got it poured in the Glencairn glass, so I can really give it a good taste.
All right, go for it. How's the sniff? What would Ralphie say?
Yeah, he would like use 50 more words than I will.
And he put a spoonful of water in there.
The biggest thing I get out of it is like banana.
Oh,
It's got a fruit, kind of tropical fruit almost smell going on.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's very rich smelling. Yeah.
Like banana bread?
Yeah, there's almost I could if I start to mix shit up, I could also say it's got a hint of, I can almost smell the walnuts in there.
Oh, you like the walnut banana bread.
There's another good question. Nuts in your banana bread or not? I like walnuts in banana bread.
I like a male banana bread with nuts.
Okay, I'm going to take a taste.
Extra nuts. This podcast is extra nuts. I make myself laugh.
'Tis a gift to be simple.
We lost you, John. Oh, you're tasting it, right?
I should point out that this is it's 53% alcohol by volume, so makes it 106 proof, which is nice and strong. That is a rich tasting whiskey.
Rich.
Yeah, it kind of lingers on the palate a long time, if you know what I mean.
How would you compare it to something I've had? So it's probably not as like a smoky one.
It's not smoky, no. It's almost it reminds, the way I describe it would be a bourbon scotch.
Kind of a hybrid?
It has some kind of the sweetness of, but it's got this extra bold maltiness to it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but no, it is not peated or any other kind of smoke. I'll have to sip some more of that and toss a little water in it and see how it does. But
right,
it's pretty good.
It's good to taste it straight first, I think. But then I
poured a couple of drops of water in it, and I'll come back to it in a sec.
Yeah, let it set a spell.
It's a nice whiskey. If like a lot of craft whiskeys, it's not inexpensive. I think the bottle I saw, the full size bottle of this I saw, was around $70.
Sure.
This is not even. It's probably not got a lot of age on it.
No.
It could be 3 or 4 years old even.
So
But that's not necessarily a huge problem.
I'm sorry. Did you say this was blended or it was single?
It's it's called a single malt.
Okay, that's what I thought you said.
It has the same basic, I think, characteristic. It's a pot still malted whiskey. I don't know what else is in it besides malted barley
and pot.
Barley.
But, yeah. Made in Waco, Texas, actually, not Dallas.
Oh, but, yeah. Well, I heard they converted David Koresh's place into a distillery, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Branch Davidian brand whiskey. They call it, Dead Branch.
Dead Branch.
Terrible. That's borderline offensive.
I suppose. I think enough time has passed.
Okay.
No,
it's like the
no one will remember that.
So a reference of it kind of leads into a Woody Allen joke. That,
right.
It's
I always
comedy.
Think of that.
Comedy is tragedy plus time.
Yeah, some things you need a lot of time with.
And it's from, I think it's from Crimes and Misdemeanors, which is actually one of his best movies. Even if you don't like Woody Allen, but Alan Alda is this really awful film director, and he goes on this little rant and says, when Lincoln was shot, you couldn't joke about it, but now it's fair game.
Oh, Alan Alda's still alive, I think.
Yeah, he is, I think. Yeah, he definitely is.
He was doing a science show for a while. That was pretty cool. I don't remember what it's called.
Alan Alda. He's
great.
Oh,
yeah. I know, I always have.
He always plays himself, but he's still great.
That's not a bad gig.
No. Speaking of old farts that we like, I'm guessing you like him too, is Ed Asner.
I hate Ed Asner. He reminds me of Eric Shipley. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Ed Asner had a small part in the Netflix show Grace and Frankie. He turned up on that.
Oh, did he really? He's still around. How old is he now, I wonder?
He had one scene. I don't know. He looked pretty old. But
he's a
still
cranky sort of guy.
The original sitcom Crank.
Definitely. Yeah. A pioneer on the cranks.
My lovely wife had a work commitment down there, and she was there for over a week, and I came at the very end, and we stayed a couple extra days and just drove around and looked at stuff and
played tourist.
We did play tourist. Yeah, we totally did. All we really did was drive around, look at things. We went to the Fort Worth Stockyards, which is I'll get to in just a minute. And really ate a copious amount of bad-for-you food.
And you also took a little trip up to Fort Wayne. Or is that down? I can't remember.
Where's Fort Wayne?
Didn't you get to Fort Wayne? It's like a suburb of Dallas, I think.
I don't know if we did or not, actually.
I think you... Okay, so she... Full disclosure, she sent me a video of...
that's Fort Worth.
Fort Worth? Oh, never mind. Not Fort Wayne.
I think Fort Wayne's in Indiana.
No, I meant Fort Worth. Fort Knox.
No, that was from the Fort Worth Stockyards.
Okay, all right.
Which is a historic district that is basically a tourist attraction.
Well, from the pictures I saw, it kind of reminded me of the Omaha. I think they're called the Stockyards, too.
Yes, and I've been there, too.
They've converted them all
part
to...
of downtown.
They just converted them to like shops and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a big street mall.
It's fun.
Yeah, this is a little bit like that too. Actually, some of the same kind of shops.
Yeah,
and, they've got
little restaurants,
a couple of historic saloons, and then twice a day they bring a small herd of longhorn cattle through the middle of the street.
She sent me a video of that. Yeah.
Apparently, one of them's taking a shit during of course, that's what happens, right?
That reminds me of the, of course, the old parades in Rapid City with, I don't know, did you, maybe you were performing.
The Ranger Band? No.
Maybe you were performing in the parades. I was watching.
I almost never observed parades. I had to march in them.
So what do? You just have to kind of step over the shit.
Yeah, no, that was always, that surprise it didn't come up on our last episode with Eric.
Stepping.
Yeah, you have to dodge in this case, horse pies.
Yeah. Those horses there.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I probably mentioned months ago, but I'm typically up in Mackinac Island once a year in October, and that's a lot of horse-drawn stuff. And the thing is, though, they keep it cleaned up quite religiously.
Yes. Well, they have, there's a religious sect that worships horse poop. It's it's a different branch.
So anyway, that was that. So that's one of the things we did. You can look at stuff. Some of it reminded me, not surprisingly, of Black Hills Old West stuff.
Oh, sure. Cattle Drive.
Yeah, that stuff, and the mid to late 1800s historical stuff.
Big hats,
shootouts, and things like that. Just to be authentic, we rented a car and we got a large pickup and we drove that around.
Oh, good. Did it have horns on the front?
They didn't offer that, unfortunately. Oh. They did have on display a 1970s Cadillac with long horns on the hood, like a Boss Hog.
Oh gosh, that's what I would want to drive.
Yeah, if they offered that, they should have the Boss Hog Cadillac that you can
get. Be the boss for a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the food was an interesting combination. The highlight for me, because I'm a huge fan of barbecue.
Oh, I was so jealous when you sent me those pictures.
Yeah, I just had to rub it in. Was this place called the Hard Eight.
God.
It's kind of I don't know how to describe it. It's a big venue that you go in, and all the pits and the cooking areas are all right there, kind of outside.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Dallas that can do that shit. And they had all the meat smoking and cooking going on, and you go up to this serving area, and all the meat is there. So they've got all the sausage and brisket and ribs. And, all the kinds of barbecue meats you could think of. And some really good-looking corn on the cob, too.
Well, so the picture you sent me, it looked like a huge indoor pit or something. Was that just a warmer to keep it warm?
The stuff with all the meat was just they keep it warm there, and that's where they serve it.
Right, okay.
And then behind that is where they did all the smoking. And what they do is they just sell it all by the pound. So so what you do is you tell the person there, I want a 1/4 pound of brisket or a 1/2 pound of chicken or whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
And they just put it on there and they weigh it and they give you a slip like you're at the deli counter.
How strange.
And then you take it into the inside of the restaurant and you go through a line and they've got sides and other stuff. And then you pay and you just eat.
Are you a coleslaw guy?
Mostly not.
I didn't think so.
I don't mind it, especially
if
it's
coleslaw.
A vinegar-based coleslaw. I don't mind it, but
we probably talked about this before too.
Yeah.
I love coleslaw. Man. Okay.
So
fine.
I did not have any of their coleslaw. Though the one thing that I will say that I didn't love there were the beans, and I'm a baked bean fan.
Oh, that's too bad.
From way back. Yeah, that's the one. And I won't say that they were not good baked beans, but they're not the kind I like. Is maybe more accurate.
Well, what are they, black-eyed peas or something?
No, they were just huge. And the thing that I'll say about it is they're free, and they just have this giant pot of them that you can just go up and take as much as you want.
Free beans!
It's like right next to the soda machine. You just go up there and ladle them on, and
free bean refills,
and you can throw some jalapenos in them if you want. And
they're
they're well made. I mean, it's a good but basic pot of. I think they're just all pintos.
Yeah,
and it's almost more of a Tex-Mex kind of bean. If you know what I mean.
I think so.
Anyway, the barbecue was. I think, I have to say it's probably the best barbecue I have ever had.
So
and I've had some good stuff.
Yeah, I know.
The thing is, it just had an incredible amount of flavor and smoke. The meat was none of it was dry. It was smoky without being all smoke and nothing else, because sometimes you get that.
Yeah.
And of course, it's Texas style, so none of it is served or cooked with sauce.
Right.
Which is that's fine. That's a different part of the country that does that. but they had a good sauce, and of course I like condiments a lot, so I put the sauce on.
The condiment king.
And the brisket was maybe my favorite. They had a hot sausage, and yeah, if you're ever there and you like that stuff, I'm sure there's other stuff that says it maybe is good, but I think we did really well.
What was the name of that place?
It's called Hard 8.
Hard 8.
And it's in this kind of suburb.
Number 8?
Spelled out.
It's a pun.
8. No, yeah, the number 8.
You get a heartache. It's Texas-style barbecue, right?
Yeah. I believe
so no sauce.
Yeah, right. It's got a spiced rub on it.
And it's more about the smoke and the rub, and then you can add whatever sauce.
Yeah, and the sauce is not really the strength there. I mean, it's a good basic sauce they had, but I think the Kansas City or the Carolina are going to be better for sauces.
Yeah, well, I've had Kansas City, but nothing else yet.
And they even give you free white bread slices.
No, you got to have that, evidently.
White bread, yeah. And it was great. So that was one highlight. The other highlight, we just when you're there again. If you're not a meat eater, this is all kind of blah blah blah.
Well, you got beans,
but they probably have meat in them too, or at least lard.
I know.
You got to have a steak, right?
Oh, at the barbecue place?
No. If you go to Dallas.
Oh, sure.
Isn't that what you think of that you should have there?
I think that's kind of a Texas thing.
So we did some searching around and found a lot of reference to what is considered one of the best steak places in Dallas area.
Yeah.
And it was called Papa's Brothers.
All right.
So if you look that up.
Now, when I lived in Houston for a few months, that's a long story, but there was a Papa's family. I think it was Papa's, and they had several different restaurants, and they had a Cajun. Oh, it was the best. I had the best.
You know what?
Crawfish etouffee. What? Yeah.
They have it in Houston too. It must be the same outfit.
I'm wondering because this place had different. I think it had a steakhouse in Houston, but I'm not sure. But we went to a Cajun place, and that was so good. Anyway, I think it's a family-run thing. So they're in Dallas too, evidently.
This is a real. Yeah. This Texas stuff is giving me the phlegm.
The phlegm.
This place is a kind of a supper club, old school. You can think Sinatra might have eaten at a place like this.
So sort of like Jack's in Northeast.
It's a little Jack's supper club, really high end food,
except maybe
prices.
higher end. No, I'm sure.
My favorite place in the Twin Cities to get steak, even though it's not a high end one, is probably Mancini's over by your neck of the woods.
That's fun, St. Paul.
Mancini's is a different experience than this is because Mancini's is really good, but they're not exactly doing high end cuts of meat.
No, it's
also reasonably priced for what you get too. So
a 50s sort of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a basic cut of meat. But they cook it really well. And they also char the hell out of the outside, so it's you wouldn't want to do that to a really expensive steak.
No.
Yeah. So this place, however, I don't know how they cook their steaks, but it's pretty much all I think prime plus.
Yeah.
Prime is the lowest end they go. They even on special had this Kobe meat from Japan that I think they said it was $28 an ounce.
Oh.
And the 8 ounce is the smallest cut they do.
Wow.
It's not, the thing is there's this Kobe beef that you can get a lot of places now. It used to be pretty rare.
One could maybe even say medium rare.
I think they kind of grow it in the United States now.
Yeah, it's the same technique.
It's the same basic idea, but This stuff, the guy, at least according to the waiter, who actually was about to travel to Rapid City to visit family.
What the hell?
Custer, I'm sorry, but Black Hills area.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are the chances, right? I mean, that was hilarious. But he really knew his stuff. He said this stuff is primo, actual Japanese cows, the whole 9 yards, whatever they do. And we did not indulge in that, but MJ had I don't know, she might have had a ribeye or something like that. It looked amazing, and I actually had a piece of buffalo.
No kidding.
Yeah, that was one of the specials, and it came with and it also came with a lobster tail. So
yeah,
which it was just incredible. And
a different kind of surf and turf.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. It was a Black Hills surf and turf.
Get a couple of Black Hills oysters on there.
Buffalo is one of those things. When we were growing up, buffalo was a lot more unusual. You didn't. There was a lot less of it around, obviously.
Well, I remember getting buffalo burgers at Custer all the time, but
yeah, or Al's Oasis or something like that. It was kind of we live in the Black Hills, we're going to eat buffalo, and
both more of a novelty.
But the thing that's interesting is that this was definitely the best buffalo I have ever had.
A buffalo steak. I don't think I've ever had a buffalo steak because
and when I've had buffalo in either steak or burgers or something, it's usually a little dry. I mean, it's a leaner meat.
Well, it's very lean,
and I just don't think usually it's prepared all that well.
I mean, you have to be really careful with it because it's so lean. What did they? Yeah. They cooked it in like some kind of fat, I'm guessing.
Oh, they probably cooked it in butter or something like that. But it also had bacon wrapped around it with the.
Okay, that helped it.
The waiter said that we don't normally do that, but the bacon kind of helps that kind of meat stay juicy and stuff.
Oh yeah, you have to.
So it wasn't just done because bacon is delicious. It's also was what had a practical purpose to keep the meat from.
Oh, any of those game meats.
It even.
They're so lean, yeah.
But that was great. The lobster tail was incredible. I probably had what was the best lobster bisque soup I've ever had.
Wow.
And it was one of those splurge dinners. I think that's kind of our Valentine's Day dinner in advance or something. Because shocker, I'm gigging on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. That Papa's family though, I mean, they really do good stuff down there. I didn't know they were in Dallas too.
I was impressed. Yeah. And this one looked like it'd been around a while, but it was in this nondescript, just outside of Dallas. The neighborhood wasn't super great looking, and
I'm trying to remember. Maybe that was where they started, but they had something they started with, and I don't know. I can't remember what it was. And then I also went to one of their Mexican. I think they had a Mexican restaurant and a Cajun, but really good food. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had a more casual restaurant down the street that was maybe barbecue and some other. Well, oh yeah, looking at it on their website. Sorry, I'm doing this on the air, but they have barbecue. They have a burger place. They have a Mexican. They also have one called Papa Do, which is Daaux, like Cajun.
That I went to one of those in Houston. Yeah,
there's actually a bunch of those. So they've gotten.
Oh, I had the best
they've
crawfish
got
etouffee.
They've probably got 8 of them in Houston now.
Oh wow, they've grown.
Got one in McAllen, near where all the kids are being locked up in prison and by the Border Patrol.
Ice, baby. Now that's too early to make that kind of a joke.
Yeah, it probably is. It's not cool. There's a lot of them. So anyway,
I think there were only 4 back then.
That was one of those experiences, though. It was a ridiculous amount of money. I probably, for me, the barbecue was the better food for me, just because I like that so much.
Oh, it's making me really hungry.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, and I'll top it off. So we had this kind of earlier in the day, like we went at 5 or something, so we could get in because the place is kind of popular.
And Minnesotans eat early.
Well, we usually don't, but
okay, you don't.
we're late people. And then we do some other things, and the last thing we wanted to get in was a trip to a Waffle House.
Oh yeah, you got to go to
So we went
Waffle House.
from the sublime to ridiculous.
Wait, you did that in the same day?
We did that late that night.
Okay, well that's a really good late night place.
Oh yeah, and there was one not far from the airport, and went in there about 11 p.m. and it was so fun. We sat at the counter, and
that's perfect.
It just got some shit.
Well, okay, so when I went to a Waffle House once in Houston, and they on the table, it had pictures. You didn't even have to say anything. You just could point at what you wanted, and they kept bringing it. I don't know. It was weird. It was really weird. I liked it, though.
Yeah, it's a very, if you don't know Waffle House, it's just limited, cheap food. They don't have a lot of stuff. There's some breakfast things and a couple of sandwiches, but fun place. I wish they had one here, just because every so often it would be great to go get that.
Well, after a couple of drinks, I'm surprised they don't have one in Denver or something after with all the legalized pot and stuff. I think that would be a good place to go.
I wonder. Oh, and then our last two food things, just to get that out of here, because I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing about it by now. So I'm a donut fan. I just love all the bad food. And the one
there's a song idea.
The one type of donuts we don't have around here these days is Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, that was a big deal for a while, and then they left.
They opened. What was that? 10 years ago or something like that? 15 maybe.
Oh, you had to wait in line, and
they opened too many of them, and they all went out of business. I should have known the whole thing was screwed when they opened one in the Mall of America.
Do you mean there aren't any more now around here at all?
No, the whole region has zero.
They just saturated.
The closest one to here is in Des Moines, Iowa.
Just saturated.
So
the market
did it. So that's a shame. If we see them, when you're in a city that has them, you got to get one. Especially if they, the gimmick Krispy Kreme does is they make them fresh there at certain times of the day, and
the light comes on.
The light comes on, and you can get them right out of the grease, and they're just amazing.
Right out of the grease.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good.
Right out of the grease. We also did just our last thing. We ate at a place called the Love Shack.
Okay, yes. So I of course I always think of the B-52s with that, but what? So this is a guy, somebody Love.
His name is
Buddy
Mike Love.
Buddy Love? No, Mike Love.
Oh, from the Nutty Professor.
So the waiter could either be really nice or really kind of loungy or something.
Yeah.
Or awkward or loungy.
Yeah, this is a casual. You go up to it's like a Shake Shack or a Smash Burger or something like that.
I've never heard of this guy. Is he on the Food Network or something? Or?
I don't know if he was. I know he was on Top Chef a few times.
Okay.
He's a Texas celebrity chef guy. He probably has cookbooks and other shit. But
all right.
This,
and pretty good. Pretty good.
It was good. I don't know how many ways you can really do a chicken sandwich or a burger that's gonna get amazing.
Yeah.
It was good. I'd eat there again, but I figured, well, that's another local thing we should try.
Well, and also I did get MJ sent me a picture of you on a Longhorn. I don't know if I was.
that so from the.
I don't know if I was supposed to see that or not.
But it's no big deal.
I didn't post it on the website.
Yeah, I might do that.
I love that picture, except the shoes are wrong. But other than that, it looked really good.
You should crop that out, or Photoshop some boots.
Oh yeah, some spurs or something.
Or the little step where you have to get to climb on the steer.
You might want to Photoshop the step out too.
Yeah, that kind of gets rid of the illusion gets shattered. So this it's kind of like you're walking down the street in this stockyard place, and for $5 you can get your picture taken. You can get on a steer. It's got a saddle on it.
Oh,
it's so cheesy.
Yeah. Oh,
and the animal just has to stand there and assholes sit on it.
I'm sorry for the animal, but it was a good picture.
I know.
It was a good picture.
When am I ever going to do that?
You looked kind of. I don't know. You looked kind of like an old rancher. Not old.
I fortunately wore the right. I had a shirt on that had little cactuses on it. It was kind of one of those, almost a Western shirt.
And they stick a hat. I'm assuming that wasn't your hat.
No, I didn't. I don't own a cowboy hat.
It looked kind of good, though. Not that people ran around or rode around on steers, but it was funny.
Unless you're a bull rider.
Oh,
and the other thing that's near there is this somewhat famous bar that was featured in a certain John Travolta movie from the early 80s.
Urban Cowboy?
Yes.
Oh my God. I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
So I haven't either. My wife definitely has. It has a lot of big pop songs on the soundtrack, I think. I think that it's one of those where the soundtrack has aged better than the movie has.
No, it was sort of like a urban cowboy version of Saturday Night Fever, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I guess. But there's a famous, it's called Gillies in the movie. I wonder if that's the...
Oh, they might have used the same name. It's probably...
But I'm pretty sure it's where it was filmed.
Are you sure it wasn't Gillies?
There you go.
Gillies? Jimmy's?
Oh, my God.
I still can't pronounce my G's right. All right. Gillies.
Okay.
Good old Gillies. Did you go to the bar?
We didn't go in, though.
Oh.
So that was... Anyway, but we saw. Well, it still has the same mechanical bull that he rides in the movie, I think.
Well, John Travolta was probably there. You might have been able to meet him.
I'm sure he was hanging out there the whole time.
Looking for an old cowhand to wrestle.
Anyway, that was Texas. We had a good time. Neither of us had been there before. And of course, it helped that at the same time we were there, it was 25 below zero here.
Yeah, you picked a good time. So, although you hit one of the worst days before you left. I was kind of surprised your flight left. It was so terrible.
Yeah, the flight was funny because the plane was fine, but like they said that they had no food and beverage service available because the catering trucks were broken or something.
Sure, I know, it was crazy. It was so flippin' cold.
Flippin' cold. Yeah. MJ got out of all she left the day it got cold, basically.
Did your mother-in-law, was she able to score any more of your the Blantons? Or,
yeah,
that was your sister-in-law.
This was my sister-in-law. It's one of those deals where she saw one of the Hy-Vee liquor stores in Sioux Falls put up a Facebook post saying, "Hey, we got some of this in. Send us a message and we'll hold a bottle for you."
How crazy!
And so I asked them to do that, and she went and picked it up.
Okay.
So
but your mother-in-law got you the other one, though.
She did get me the other one. Yeah.
Well, you have connections.
Yeah, I still can't find this stuff except at the.
Evidently, you have to go to Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I think it's just that there's fewer people trying to find it, and I think all the stores are allocated a certain amount. So.
Well, and maybe also in certain markets, it's just not. I mean, really high-end whiskeys may not be as big of a deal in other places. Mm-hmm. So maybe you're more likely to get them.
High-end whiskey, back to the Papa's Steakhouse place.
Is that the picture you sent me with that whiskey thing?
Yeah, I sent you a picture of that.
Oh, my God.
Off the bar, they had a big whiskey cabinet with very expensive whiskeys. So they had all the Pappies. They had lots of 30 and plus year old scotches. And they at least they up front they told you, and most of them were $100 to several $100 an ounce.
That's like the whiskey wet dream of.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I just.
Oh no, that's expensive.
The food at that price point, I'm sorry, it's just for me, it's not worth it. I mean.
How much better is it, I wonder?
One pour of some of those whiskeys was more than our entire dinner. And that was amazing food. I just it's not worth, the value is not there. I'm sorry. It was cool that you can go if you really want to seek it out and try one. It's out there.
How do they do with cocktails and stuff like that there at the Papa's places? Do they do those or?
I had a regular. I had a Buffalo Trace Old Fashioned.
Sure.
From their bar, and it was very good.
Yeah. Okay.
It was. I mean, the one thing I liked about it wasn't too sweet, which is kind of I think something that a lot of bars make old fashions too sweet. They put too much sugar or fruit in them.
Once in Wisconsin, I had an old quote unquote old fashioned. It was like, it was so sweet. It was like whiskey Kool-Aid, something crap. Yeah, it was terrible.
I mean, I took a swig of that high proof Texas whiskey there. I'll just call it Scotch. Fuck it. No, that it's the whole point of the old fashioned is that you're supposed to taste the whiskey.
Yeah.
There's nothing else in it of any substance, really. Just sugar and maybe club soda or orange peel or something like that. But
you might muddle a cherry and orange peel and sugar together.
The pure old fashions don't have fruit in them even.
Well,
but the point is, it's just supposed to be a thing that showcases the whiskey.
Oh wait, and then the other thing too, I think in Wisconsin they lean towards more towards the brandy old fashions.
Yeah, that's right. Brandy is a.
I could be wrong.
Of course, you could make Manhattans with brandy too. That seems just gross, but.
Any of our Wisconsin listeners, feel free to correct me, but I think they lean more towards the brandy old fashions there.
Yeah, I don't think Eric can help us out there.
No, Eric. Well, he'll have a
old fashioned kombucha.
I suppose.
Anyway, done with the Texas stuff. I'm
tempted to mix kombucha with something to make a weird drink. I'll experiment.
Well, you can experiment on air.
Now, hopefully it'll go better than my Scotch. What was that? I tried to Scotch and mint, and that was dumb. That didn't work.
This whiskey definitely gets better when you put a little water in it.
Well, and it probably set a little longer too.
Yeah,
but the water helps.
That's the Ralphie rule, with aged Scotch, is that once you pour it, you want to let it sit out for a while.
About how long?
And his guideline is like, for every year of age, you want a minute. So a 10-year Scotch, you want to let it sit in the glass for 10 minutes before.
Nobody's going to wait 30 minutes to drink a Scotch. Yeah, Ralphie might.
Ralphie. Might. Yeah, he's a weirdo. But
is he still going?
Yeah, he's a huge YouTube guy. Yeah.
I wonder if he gets any of the Texas.
I think he does a review almost every week.
Somebody send him a Texas single malt.
I'd be interested. Yeah, he does occasionally review American whiskey.
But he doesn't do that unless they post their the year or whatever.
Well, he does have a rule, at least with Scotch, where he does not do no age statement whiskey anymore. I think he used to, but he considers it kind of a shitty practice. In other words, it lets them
shady or shitty.
Both, probably. Yeah, it's
shite.
It's like they take the age statement off and they dumb it down with some younger whiskey and they keep the price the same.
Because before, as we mentioned before, it was always they'd list the lowest one, and it could have been older than that.
And that's the legal UK term too. You have to.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, and Scotch has to, I believe, be. I want to say, I think 3 years is the minimum you can do a Scotch.
Ralphie's right. So there, I don't know. I suppose everybody around here needs to plow again pretty soon.
Well, do you have something you want? I feel like I hogged a lot of the discussion tonight.
Boss hog.
Brr.
Well, no, you actually had something to do. I was just stuck here in the winter. No, I'm fine. I'm okay with I think the Manhattan's kicking in a little bit too much here. Maybe I don't need another drink. Okay. Well, that's fine. I'm fine with ending here. We're at the almost the hour point.
We can do that. I can go do my snow throwing.
Blowing, snowing, throwing. What's the other one? Tossing?
Underneath all that snow is solid ice.
No, that's kind of fun. The blower slips around.
Well, then you fall on your ass.
Nah, you got it now. And every now and then the blower can pull you up a little bit. Yeah.
So, how speaking of swearing, Eric really outdid all of us. I was listening in the car yesterday to our last episode, and it's like, wow, yeah, he's just.
That helped inspire the song though. So
no, it was funny. I just like. Oh, that was a good time.
It's good. It's it's too bad that the sound got a little messed up there, but it was fun. We'll figure that out and have them on again sometime.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I think I'm I'm gonna start trying to find a time for Matthew P. to come on.
Sure. All right.
I think he's willing to do it. So he's coming up here this weekend actually.
No. Again for a concert?
And no, actually this time Madeline and her boyfriend are having a party for their dog.
What? Hey, he's coming up for that?
I should invite you because it's one of these things where we're all going to meet at a brewery.
Yeah.
And they let dogs. You can bring your dogs into the brewery, and they have a tap room and stuff. And
oh, hilarious!
And so we're gonna do that and like order pizza. And...
Is that at Surly's? They don't let dogs there.
No, it's not Surly's. I forget.
I may not be able to go because I'm doing the really early Sunday morning pancake shift where I make pancakes for a band.
So you're doing a pancake feed,
basically. And it was kind of fun. I did it last year. It's really early though, even for me. So
wow,
I have to wake up like
3 in the morning.
No, not that early. It's not quite baker's hours, but I wake up about 5:30 and get over there and start flipping pancakes and these huge griddles. I think it's some kind of union law. I'm not sure, but they have to have a cafeteria worker, and if that's not the right term, I'm sorry, but there to make sure we're doing everything right. But you get to work in the school cafeteria, and they have these 2 huge griddles. It's kind of fun, and you have this little it's a huge you make a huge bunch of batter, but you put them in these little. You push a thing, and just the right amount drips out. And I don't know the terms, but and then you go click, click, click. You make like 8 at a time, and then there's a guy next to you doing that. But yeah, it's kind of fun. You do like a 3-hour shift, and then the next shift comes in. But it's so I might not go out on Saturday night, but send it to me. Send it to me anyway.
It might be even like the mid to late afternoon kind of thing. So
well, maybe I can then.
I will see, but it's fun. But yeah, of course, it's for their dog.
Well, maybe I can borrow the neighbor's dog. So maybe I will come.
You haven't met her dog, have you?
No.
Oh, he is the nicest dog. He's just.
What kind of dog is it?
He's this weird mutt kind of combination. It's like part little golden retriever, but he's really short.
Yeah.
And he's got kind of collie.
I was going to say
lassie fur on the top, and I've never seen a dog that looks like him.
Oh, weird. That's okay.
But he's very, very sweet. And
what's his name?
Gadget.
Oh, go.
Yep. So,
and he goes often, I'm sure. All right. Well, on that note,
man. Well, this has been different.
Oh no, I liked it. Okay, fine.
Cool, man. Good luck on your blowing.
Next time, I'll talk about my adventures to.
Houston.
I don't go anywhere. Oh yeah, okay. I can talk about Houston. Oh jeez, maybe not. All right. Whoops.
She likes to make a comment like when
your mother-in-law.
Yeah. She'll say, well, I'm just not much good anymore. like I'm old and broken down or whatever. And the funny
runner
part
course.
is she's still really good shape, and
yeah,
when the weather doesn't suck, she's always out doing her yard and building stuff in her woodshed and all that stuff.
She's outlived at least one husband.
Yeah, I know. She does fine, and I think this time of the year it gets, because she can't be outside doing things, and she gets kind of a little depressed about it.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I get that. So what did she say?
Oh, her term is I'm not much good anymore.
That's sad.
Yeah, well, and of course we kind of like, no, you're good. Blah, blah. So I thought maybe a song with that would be funny.
All right, well we'll do it. Somehow.
Let's toss some lyrics around.
Here's the song. I'm a bit worn out, worse for the wear, but part of me is still devil may care. Take me back to the general store, 'cause I'm not much good anymore. I keep busy, fill my time. Don't hang around at the 5 and dime. I guess now they call it the dollar store. I'm not much good anymore. I bide my time drinking wine, making wood ornaments and interior designs. Tired, retired, muscles sore. I'm not much good anymore. Toil in the soil in my backyard. Someday I'll be compost, scraps to discard. Toss me in my garden if I start to bore. 'Cause I'm not much good anymore. I live the best life I could afford. I wonder if they'll miss me on the old school board. Take me back to the general store. 'Cause I'm not much good anymore. I hope that you can find the receipt if you try to return me in your back seat. They're tough on returns at the general store. And I'm not much good anymore. Take me round back, don't use the front door. 'Cause I'm not much good anymore.